Every month, we get a package from Scopely. Inside that box, there's 5 new characters as well as the resources to build those 5 characters. Because of that, there should not be a resource crunch. We should always be able to build every team as it comes out. So, why is it that some people don't have resources? Why do people say there's this resource crunch? Why do people say you have to skip teams to get ahead? Let's go ahead and break that down and get into it. See, I've been playing this game since the beginning. So, for the almost 8 years that it's existed, I really have not run into a situation where I was unable to build a team because I didn't have enough resources. It's just not a situation that has happened to me. And I play my main account, and keep in mind, I build a new account every year just to try to keep up and understand what's happening from the new player perspective. And I don't run into that bottleneck, generally speaking. So, what am I doing that's so special? In reality, nothing. I'm not doing anything special. I'm playing the game the way it's designed. Well, what's supposed to happen? Well, just like we said, Scopely gives us this box of stuff. It shows up every month. Inside that box, we have a new team. And over the course of that month, right, we're going to build this team over the course of the month. We're going to get the resources in order to do that. So the next team that's come out is the Winter Guard. People are saying they're going to skip whatever team over here to get ready for the Winter Guard. Okay, well, let's start off 2026 the right way. Let's start it off the right way. If we're going to start, let's start it off the right way. So, January 2026, the Winter Guard comes into the game. So, what I'm going to do during the month of January is build those 5 characters that are part of that team. Yelena Belova, the Red Guardian, Omega Red, Dark Star, Ursa Major, right? Those are the 5 characters that I'm going to build. Okay. I'm going to try to not deviate from that. It's those 5 that are going to get built. So by the end of the month, we'll see if that's done. And if we're able to do that every month, you have the resources, right? We won't run out of resources. But what are some of the things that happen? This happens to people, they run short. What are some of the things that happen? What are the contributing factors to that? Well, it's very simple. If we get enough to build 5, if I try to build an extra one, I'm going to run short. And the more often I do that, the more I'm going to run short. So, what are some ways that that can happen? There's a couple. We get some advice, right? And it's good advice. It's well-meaning advice. Someone says, you should build Apocalypse. You should build Old Man Logan. These are amazing characters. This is true. Professor X. You should make sure you get your Professor X. Also true. Amazing characters. However, if we have to bend from our system here, we're taking away from that 5. And in many cases, it requires us to build extra characters, other characters, to get to those characters. So we're going to set ourselves even farther and farther behind. We got to be careful of that. We want to get those characters if we can, but if we deviate from that, if we go outside of that 5, we're going to run short. And the more characters we build to get over here, the less we have to get on our plate right now. And we might not realize is it makes it harder than when that next box comes and when that next box comes, and we just keep falling farther and farther behind. It was good advice. It meant well, but it's detrimental to our account. So what's another way that this could happen? Maybe we're want to get a little bit of ahead, right? We want to get that strategic advantage. So we say, well, the retcon team is coming next, and Deadpool is on the retcon team, and Deadpool's my favorite character, right? So I said, well, I'm going to build Deadpool now so I can get ahead. Makes sense. And you can build any way you want to. However, that also would be detrimental to our account. Why? Because there's only enough for 5. If I go ahead and I build Deadpool, what might happen is I don't have enough resources, obviously, to build one of the other characters. I can only build 4. That would mean that my team, the Winter Guard team, will not function. It might not function the way it's supposed to. There's also another danger. Deadpool is a mutant character. Why is that significant? Because so often we talk about training materials and gold, but we need to keep in mind the gear as well. See, the gear is specific to certain types of characters. The game has mutants. skill characters, mystic, bio, and tech-based characters. There's 5 different origins for characters in the game. So if I spend my mutant gear on Deadpool, it's possible that maybe I not only don't have enough resources to build my Winter Guard team, I might take away the gear even from one of the other mutant members. See, Omega Red, Ursa Major, and Darkstar are also mutants, which again makes it harder to keep up, right? It makes it so now I have to start looking and farming for that specific kind of gear. Now we're talking about getting people to gear tier 20 here, and there's going to be some randomization in that. But if we just stick to the box, when we focus on getting what we need for those characters, then when we have it, then you just throw the rest of it on the pile. That's what I do, right? I needed one more piece of gear tier 20 gear to get my sunspot to gear tier 20. So I got my Warlock the other day. We got him up, and I noticed, hey, I still don't have sunspot. Well, I got that last piece. So now I'm just throwing the extra gear on the pile. It's just piling up for either the next team or the team after that, or the team after that, right? You're building a small surplus. You don't necessarily know what it's going to be used for. You're just increasing your chances to get more stuff. If we dwindle that down too early, then we have to spend time focusing, trying to find that missing piece. During that time, the next team might come out, and now we have to make a decision. Do we keep building the one that passed, or do we keep up with where we need to be? Now, there is another scenario that could introduce a 6th person into our roster. And those ones we don't have any control of. So we think about the special characters in Blastar, the legendaries Quasar, Thunderstrike. We're going through Battle World again at some point this month. Maybe we'll have enough to get the Sentry. Some people will be unlocking Blue Marvel. So the game, again, at certain times, just from playing the game, from chasing, you're going to get those good, strong plug-and-play characters. And we don't really have a time for some of us, right? We can't necessarily always control when that's going to happen, right? Those of us who are playing for free, right? I'm talking mostly on the free-to-play side of things. You're just chugging along. You don't always have control about when that's going to happen, when you finally hit that mark to get that character. So what should we do in that case? Should we not build those characters? Those are the best characters in the game as individual characters, and they're meant to be plug and play. They're meant to be moved around and used in different scenarios. Absolutely. We absolutely should build those characters 100%. But won't that break our box? Well, again, we need to think about what's actually going on here. Sometimes it's hard to see it when we're always zoomed in, but we got to zoom all the way out. Every month, for sure, Scopely gives us enough to build 5 characters. On occasion, throughout the course of the year, they give us extra. They give us enough to build 6, maybe 7. On rare occasions, even 8. If we're just sticking to our 5, right? If we're just sticking to our 5 blueprint, just what's inside that box, then we'll naturally have a surplus that builds up for just such an occasion, because that's what it's for. Scopely wants us to build these characters as free-to-play players. They want us to build the characters. They're giving us the resources in order to do so, and they plan that out throughout the year. So as long as we're sticking to our 5 characters in a box, on the months that there's an extra, there's a surplus, if we don't spend it, when those special characters come into our account, we can power them up. It's no problem. This is how you keep up with the game. This is how we don't run out of resources. We don't have to skip characters. We don't have to skip teams. And we're going to try to demonstrate that. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to try to demonstrate that on the channel. But there is one thing we do need to take a look at, because it does depend on where you are in your development. That's why I play multiple accounts. So let's go to the game and point out some of the pieces that we need to be mindful of. All right, so we see the characters here. This is my main account. And we see the characters here are all favorited. They got the blue heart. It's just to help me stay organized as to what I'm trying to do. For example, we have Mr. Franklin Richards up there in the upper left-hand corner. The reason why he's there is just so to remind me he's the individual that I'm working on right now when it comes to purple ISO 4 and 5. I'm trying to go ahead and finish him out with that, I have Invisible Woman already, and Franklin Richard is the next person that I'm working on in that regard. The other characters you see here are from recent teams. So we have individuals who are part of the Immortal Weapons, and we have individuals who are part of the New Mutants. Okay? So essentially, the reason why these individuals are here is just to remind me either to finish off that gear or to get more character shards. So in the case of Lady Bullseye there, that team is 2 teams away. So I'm not really pushing very hard to try to get her up to gear tier 20. I'll work on it a little bit more later, but that team came and went, right? So we talked about working on that box. The next team that came out was the New Mutants. We did indeed get Warlock finished. And as we mentioned before, we had to get that last piece for Sunspot. We got that done. I'm probably not going to power up Magic just because she's kind of a demonic figure. Not really a demonic figure, but that's the origin of her powers, right? It just takes us to the dark side. So I think I'm just going to leave her on the side and we'll bring another character up instead. Now, what we're starting to see if we go to this next section here, we see characters that belong to the Winter Guard and the Retcon team. So at the bottom there, we have Red Guardian and Yelena because we haven't used them for quite some time. They're the weakest. But I don't need any character shards for these. Since this is my veteran account, right? This is the one we've been playing since the beginning. I have all the characters. We have them all unlocked. Yeah, they're going to need some gear, but I have all the characters and I have them all unlocked. What we're just going to do is go ahead and stack gear right now, like we were saying before, and wait till the team goes live in game. Okay? We're just going to wait till the team goes live in game. Right now, okay, so this is something that's very important to understand. I type in Winter Guard. There is no Winter Guard, right? There is no Winter Guard right now. The Winter Guard does not yet exist in the game. We know who the characters are, but the Winter Guard is not a team officially in the game. That will come sometime in the future. They'll get the new stats. So pardon me, a little under the weather. I don't know what you actually heard right there. The Winter Guard is not officially activated in the game. We know they're coming. And when they get their new stats, when they get their actual new abilities, then we'll start building the characters. That'll probably be in early January, right? We'll know when we see an offer, right? There'll either be an offer for Ursa Major or for Darkstar. And then we know, hey, it's time. And so then for that month, I'm just going to focus on these Winter Guard characters. Now, there is a difference between a veteran account and a new account. There are some other things we need to keep in mind. Let's switch over there real quick so we can see what that looks like as well. So here's my newer player account, right? Sometimes people say it's not a new player account. Here's my newer player account. We just recently got to the point where we can get characters up to gear tier 20. So this next couple months will be a good opportunity to see, are we able to kind of keep up, right, with my endgame account? Here is the difference that we want to point out. So we got Deadpool here, we got the Red Guardian, and we need character shards. We don't have the character shards for them, and we have to build these characters from scratch, from level 1 all the way up to 105, and the goal is gear tier 20. So that's the goal for each of the teams that I'm trying to build from now on. Now, just be mindful, something you can start doing right now is you can get these characters out of the store. So go ahead and favorite them like I did there. I wouldn't use energy to go for them because you need that energy. If you're like me, right, I need the energy to get training materials. Okay, I need the energy to get training materials. But I probably already found them all today, so I can't show you. But if you were on here, right, somewhere in the middle right here, there would be that section that would take you to the store. So you should do that every day, right? Get the characters out of that store using the shop credits. Okay, using the shop credits. Right, so we got Squirrel Girl here. Previous age, you can find exactly where they are if you have them unlocked. And I would just use shop credits. Okay, and just try to do that every day so you can get the shards for the characters. That way, that's something you don't have to worry about. Don't use the energy for it. If you're like me, you have plenty of gold, not much training materials. And that way, you'll be able to bring the characters up instead. We're going to have an experiment You let me know if you have any questions, if you got some parameters we could set. I don't really spend money, so we're not going to spend money doing it, but we're going to see if we're able to keep up, if we're able to build these characters. Again, my progression is not in the same place. This account is still working on the new mutants, right? I'm slowly chipping away at unlocking Warlock over there, and we'll be trying to do that until that Winter Guard team comes out. Okay? So we'll see. We'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Have you heard some different ideas? Right? Is this not how the game actually works? Again, so far, in my opinion, this has worked for years. But I'm open to suggestions. I might be wrong. I might be missing something. So let me know. However, this video right here, okay, this is Big Positive Geek. This is Big Positive Geek. He always pays attention to the economy. He's the most detailed creator that I know of that pays attention to the economy. And he'll show you what you can actually do every month in Marvel Strike Force.